Hey, this is Judd. It's a reply show, Daydreaming About Dragons. Daydream with you. Here we go. Got an email from Paul Drussel. Paul, thank you so much. It says, Hi, Judd. Just a quick raven to say thanks for the heads up on Caves of Qud. I had it on my Steam wish list for a while, and your gushing about it while daydreaming about dragons, coupled with a Steam sale, kicked me into purchasing it. And so that's how I found myself spending my time on the last afternoon of 2018, wandering around the many varied locales of Qud, dying mostly, but still enjoying it thoroughly. Have you seen ADOM, Ancient Domains of Mystery, or Dwarf Fortress? The former is a classic of roguelike fantasy questing, whilst the latter is a tour de force of persistent world, hellishly steep learning curve fun. Dwarf Fortress also has potential for world-building inspiration as the worlds it creates are simulated into geological processes, plus the Legends mode lets you browse the deeply developed history of the peoples and nations. Happy New Year. May 2019 be full of gaming delights. And thank you, Paul. And he sent a pic with like a raven on it that had like like an email one, like as if it was an email. It was really cool. It was a cool pic. So I said thank you, and I asked him where he got the great raven pic, and he said the raven pic is courtesy of a Google image search for raven male, in quotes. Oh man, I just died again in Qud after my most successful romp yet with 8,000 points playing the daily challenge, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, let's talk about those games in general. Roguelikes, Ancient Domains of Mystery, I have not played yet. It is on my wish list. It's on my Steam wish list too, so it's funny you should mention Steam wish lists. ADOM, Ancient Domains of Mystery, is on my wish list. I haven't picked it up yet. And I just spent a bunch of money on not frivolous things, but things. So I'm going to wait a month or so before I start picking up games. Dwarf Fortress is something I've played before. I haven't downloaded it on my current computer, but when I've played it, it's really cool. And there's something I want to talk about with the roguelikes, and the way that they're not necessarily narrative games, but a story will often come out of them when you get all these random things being generated and a player interacting with them. Something happens, and I've talked about it before, where humans recognize patterns. Right? There's two dots over a line, and then it looks like a face. Right? So, is it that something's really being generated? Is it just that we're seeing it? Does it matter? Does it matter? I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters if the game did it on purpose or if it's just random chance. And in a way, it kind of feels cooler when it's random chance. That's something. I don't know. That's interesting. And that reminds me of something Vincent Baker said about dice and how dice are there to make us do things that we otherwise might not have done, right? We might not have made that choice to kill that character, but the dice said to do it. And so then the character dies. And what happens? And I've seen that create really cool stuff. And tragedy. I like that when we make these characters, we don't know if it's a heroic journey or a cautionary tale, right? I don't know, man. And there's something else about the roguelikes that I'd like to talk about, and that is the kind of the wandering and the dying and that being okay. I feel like that's in the old school games. I feel like we see that a bit. And is there a way to make it even more enjoyable? Is there a way to make dying in the wilderness alone as your character dying in the wilderness and to an orc arrow more fun? And your bones being bleached and just kind of being left there, and that being okay. I don't know. That's interesting. It's an interesting design conundrum. Is there something we can kind of tack on to an old school game to make that more fun through ghosts, maybe? Maybe we can flag NPCs as we go through, or have someone written down on our sheet and be like, hey, if we die, I want my ghost to go to this person. I want my shade to go to this person and tell them, hey, this is how I died. This is where my stuff is. It's in this dry gulch. I I died by goblin arrows. I made it a couple miles away, and then I perished. I don't know. Is there a cool way to do that? Because there is something about those roguelikes where you're wandering around and you're perishing, and it's still kind of fun. I don't know. There's something to that. Something to that. We'll see. We'll see if that kind of design space makes it into the house rule hack I'm throwing together. We'll see. It's definitely all percolating in my head. So thank you, Paul, for re-percolating it and taking the time to send me this email. That's great. And if that's my only mail this week, that'll be fine. Just fine. So thank you very much for daydreaming with me. And if you're out there listening to this, thank you for coming on. Thank you for listening. On Wednesdays, I do a reply show where I reply to people's, either you can send me something over the Anchor app, or you can send me an MP3 that you recorded on your phone, or you can send me an email, or you can tweet at me, whatever you want. However you want to do this. I'm pretty easy to track down. Track me down. And I'll have my Twitter in the links, and hopefully you can track me from there. And, what's on your Steam wish list? What's going on with you? Is there a way that your video game playing is making its way into your tabletop space? Is there a way that those design goals are crossing over and interacting? There's something that's going on at your table that you really want to see happen on your video game, or is there something on your video game that you really want to see happening in your tabletop? You feel like it hasn't been captured yet. It's interesting stuff. Let me know. Hit me up. And if any of this inspires any kind of strong reaction, hit me up with that too. Just send it out of love and respect, and I'll respond out of love and respect back, and the world will be a little bit better for it, I hope. All right. Happy New Year, people. Thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you on Sunday where we'll daydream about dragons. I'll give you a hint. This week I'm thinking about having tea with a lich. That's the prompt. It's from an old LARP thing that happened to me ages ago, years ago, maybe even decades ago. And I thought about it, and I thought, I need to talk about that. So that's what we'll be talking about this Sunday. Tea with a lich. I'm not sure what the inspiration goat's going to bring me, but we'll see what happens. So if you're new to the show, that's how we rock out. Wednesdays are my reply show, so I keep it separate. So if you don't like reply shows, you can just skip it. And Sundays are the show. Sundays, I talk about something that comes out of actual play, and then I talk about something that's inspiring me right now. It could be a show, could be a game, could be a book, could be a comic. Who knows? Could be a game, who knows? Who knows what it will be? We'll see. We'll see. Thank you, folks. Welcome to 2019. Let's settle in. Let's get into a groove. Let's rock this year. Talk to you Sunday.